Hello friends, welcome to the last Q&A of 2018. I am out here in the forest, a little after sunrise. It is very cold. I'm all bundled up. My fingers are getting cold because I just filmed Member Monday, so members, I talk about a personal project I'm working on right now. If you're interested in that, check it out. I'll put a link to it down below. If you want to be a member or if you want to learn more about it, there is a join button down below or a link in the description down below if you don't see that join button, and you can learn more about it. Anyway, beyond that, I am here. It is cold, but I have a warm drink. So I have a lot of questions from you all. I asked all over the place. I asked on social media, I asked in a video last week, all over the place. So I did get a lot of questions. So I am going to try to go through these questions kind of as quickly as I can so I can answer all of them, but also they're all really good questions, so I just want to answer all of them for you. So okay, let's get started. Starting with Instagram. First one is from Alex, I believe. Alex. Which portrait lens for Nikon F-mount is the best bang for the buck? Oh my gosh, this is such a good question. Okay, so the reason I say this is because I have one lens that is a conventional answer, and that is the 85mm f1.8 G lens. It's a prime. It's a wonderful lens. Check it out. However, Raymond has been using the 80 to 200mm f4 push-pull lens. It is an oldie, manual focus only. However, we recently purchased it used on Amazon, and it is a stellar lens. We are getting some beautiful photos with it. So I'll put a link to it down below. Check it out if that's something that you're interested in, because, you know, it really is giving us some beautiful photos. Okay, next. From Winding Trails Photography. He says, I need to learn photo editing. Do you suggest starting with Lightroom or Photoshop or some other package? I've not learned any at this stage, so very low on learning curve here. Thanks. And then Ryan Chapman Photo said, Lightroom and Photoshop are sold together as a package, you know, for a monthly fee. So you'd get to try both. And that is true, and that's cool. There's a free trial. A lot of these things have free trials. Yeah, just try one out. Lightroom is definitely easier to use than Photoshop if you haven't ever, you know, really done photo editing before. But there's other things. If you use a Mac, there's Photos on the Mac. There's other free software. I actually just got my hands on a Capture One license, so I'm going to be trying that out. And I do plan to share that process, I think, with you all. So I would try something free or try a free trial. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here when it comes to editing. So everything's going to be anything that you use, even if it's an app on your phone, you're going to be able to make some adjustments and kind of see what you like out of your editing. You know, hey, I noticed that I really like, you know, one certain thing. You'll be able to customize, you know, which tool you want to end up spending money on that way. So that's my answer there. Kavan says, Sony, Nikon, Canon, or Leica, which one is your favorite? All of them. I like all of them. DCL Platinum says, do you think medium format will become more mainstream in the next few years? Yeah, probably. It does seem like, you know, with some of the newer offerings that have come out that are like, I mean, small. So yeah, I think it'll probably be more mainstream. Not that everyone's going to be using it, but yeah, I think so. Ken says, good morning. Good morning, Ken. Good timing. I am out here in the morning time. Oh my gosh, it's just all volcanic rock here. It's hard to put down a like ceramic mug on volcanic rock. Anyway, he says, good morning. I am really interested in astrophotography. I dig your latest night pics. Any plans to do some more in-depth shoots at night outdoors? Yes, 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 yes. I am hooked. Also, I have a video with Stan Moniz coming soon. I filmed a little short video with some tips for beginners and some other stuff with him when I was in Sedona with Sony. So he is awesome. So I'll put a link to him down below. if you want to learn more about astrophotography, because he does have some videos on it that you can see right now. Ken also had a question about, how about low-key photos of hands? Would you consider a low-key close-up shoot? It would be interesting to see setup for hands holding stuff. Other hands, holding other hands, holding face, books, etc. Really old hands with lots of wrinkles, delicate and smooth, working hands that tell a story. Oh, that's cool. I have terrible hands for something like that because my hands are super wrinkly. They always have been. I know that some of you have noticed because you commented on it. Thanks. But yeah, actually that sounds like a really interesting project. I would like to see it out of you, actually, Ken. Challenge? Do you accept? Okay. Mark. I think it's Mark. Mark Sprimoli. Anyway, when do you think the DSLR will be totally replaced by mirrorless? Never. I don't think it'll ever totally be replaced by mirrorless. I mean, people are still using film cameras today, so, never. For nature, ever going to visit Iowa and shoot the tall grass prairies? I know it's a long shot, but you said ask anything. I think that would be awesome. In fact, that's something that I talked about for when I was planning this next trip. I'm going to Yellowstone Snow Lodge, but when I was planning this trip, that was actually something that I had considered, was going somewhere kind of in the Midwest region, because it's not something I've explored very much. I went to Kansas one time. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I was much younger, but yes, I would consider that. And he also asks, or he or she, I don't know, it's a kitty cat in the profile picture. If you could only shoot one, sunrise or sunset, which would you choose and why? Sunrise every damn day. Next. Biolapse says, what is one area of photography that you have always wanted to explore? I like to do everything, but I guess astrophotography, that was a bit of a surprise that I really liked that. It wasn't something that I was super excited to explore, and then all of a sudden I kind of did, and now I want to explore that a lot further. I want to do time lapses and stuff, so that's one that I want to explore more. I also have a film project coming up, which is something else that I have wanted to re-explore again. I want to do some alternative processes of the film. I'm very excited. More about that later. Ben says, have you ever thought about experimenting with large format? Maybe. I mean, I always want to try everything. It's just not something that's like on my radar right now. And then Lalo says, when did you start photography and when did you decide it was time to switch and focus fully on photography as a career? I started photography. I always liked to take pictures. When I was a kid, I've told this story before. I had this brick neon yellow camera and I thought I was an artist. However, I didn't get filmed very often, so it wasn't something that I just didn't get filmed very often, so I wasn't able to really explore it until I was much older. And then, when I finally did really get to explore it, which was probably not until, college, really, maybe right out of college, that I really, really got into it. And then when did I decide it was time to switch and focus fully? I've kind of done this back and forth. When I did photography as kind of a side gig for a long time. I went through college, went through my master's program. I worked in an office and did like finance stuff and other stuff. But I worked photography on the side. At some point I did do photography full-time for a little bit, went back to an office job because kind of the events, the grind of portraits all of the time and in events and weddings, it wasn't that fulfilling. So I kind of ended up going back to a regular job for a while, utilizing my MBA. Boring for me. And at some point I started Snapchick and then decided it kind of took off a little bit and I was like, I'm going to try this. So I did. Next, Frank says, it used to be that despite some diehards, most people agreed that it didn't really make much difference if you choose Nikon or Canon because they would regularly leapfrog one another in features. It seems that Sony is the up-and-comer. Should a newbie go to Sony, or can it safely be said the Sony, Canon, and Nikon will be roughly comparable for years? That's a really good question. I think that, I think you can pick up any camera that is currently on the market today and get great photos with it. So I think it really has to do with personal preference and what you want out of your photography. So I think you can use anything and get great photos. I mean, you can get great photos with your phone. So I'm juggling too many things. So I do think that you could use anything and get a great photo. Now, Jay Mapalad, I think? Yeah. How do you organize your photo library in Lightroom? Multiple catalogs, folders, keywords? I don't keep everything in Lightroom. I do have a video where I discuss kind of how I organize things. I will put a link to that up above. Yeah. Next, Out Under the Sky has a very, very long comment here about basically the future of photography, mirrorless and DSLRs, but I read this before. The gist of it is what are my comments or thoughts on the future of photography and how it's getting more and more, the computer in the camera is taking care of more and more for us. I think it's great. I do like going back to basics from time to time and just kind of doing more myself. I have this film project that I'm wanting to do that I talked about earlier, but progress is great. I love to see new things, and I love technology in addition to the art of photography. So I think it's great. I think give me everything. I want to see it all. MMPM says, are you and Raymond a couple? Yes, we are married. I guess I thought all this was obvious, and then I occasionally get this comment like, are you guys together? Are you brother and sister? No, we are married to each other this time. I know, it's terrible. All of you out there are probably weeping. Raymond is taken. Anyway, moving on to Modern Wolf Hair. Thoughts on macro 4/3 format? I think it's great. One more thing. I like it all, just like I said before. Okay, guys, I just had to adjust exposure because, sunrise and sun. I'm actually seeing blue sky over there now as opposed to just clouds. Okay. Wrong Turn says that they're looking to buy a camera on Boxing Day. They're thinking about the SL2, but it isn't on any of the top 10 lists for 2018, and I think he or she, I can't tell from the profile picture because it's like an arm or something, is vacillating, like, should I get it? Here's the thing. I think you can play this game of, should I wait for the next thing? Is this the right thing? But I have the SL2. I love the SL2. It's a great camera. It's a great system. And if you have tried it, gotten into your hands, if you like how it feels, it'll be a great camera for you. I do suggest trying things in your hands to see which one you like, but I think that, like I said before, I think you could play this game of which one is the best one for me, but there are no cameras on the market today that won't get you great images if you get out there and learn how to use your camera and use your camera. So I say go for it. If that's what you want, get it. It's a great camera. Albert says, hi Leigh, what am I on now? Oh, I screenshotted everything. I think I'm on Facebook now. He says, hi Leigh, happy holidays to you. My question is, now that you and Raymond have the Nikon Z6 and Z7 mirrorless cameras and have experienced the Sony Alpha 7 mirrorless camera, will you guys be going mirrorless from this point on? Will you be looking to get rid of your D810 and D500 and go straight mirrorless with the Z6 and Z7? Yes and no. I am leaning heavily on mirrorless stuff, but I did sell some of my old stuff, but I don't expect to get rid of the D500. I do think that mirrorless cameras, at least the ones that I have right now, aren't quite there yet when it comes to super duper fast action. But the D810 actually, I have something going on with that I will share in the near future. Next question is from Greg, and Greg said, Greg from Boston, he writes, says, Greg, you're funny. Exactly what is it that you want to say with your landscape photographs, and what secret sauce of composition do you perform resulting in that snap-chickerific landscape photo? Have a cool Yule and a Happy New Year. Greg, you never cease to make me smile. I appreciate the compliment. And, you know, really everything with my photography is that I want to convey a feeling. I want to convey the feeling that I had when I was at a place. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, everything else is just, I fly by the seat of my pants. John asks, counting the cameras you own and all of those you ever viewed, do you have a favorite? No, I don't. I just plain don't. I love cameras. I do. Heiko says, so if you would have checked out the Alpha 7R3 first, would you still have bought the Z7? Oh, Heiko. Heiko's a big Sony fan. I would say that I don't know, because I did thoroughly enjoy using the Alpha 7R3, but, you know, I was going to be curious about this Z series as well. So I don't know. Maybe both. I don't know if I could afford both. Anyway, Bruce says, why did you bring Raymond back now? Good question, Bruce. Because I wanted to. Because I want to do some more focusing on my artistic projects, but I don't want to not do gear reviews. So it's kind of like I wanted him to come in and do some stuff that I don't do or don't want to do. Yeah, so that's why I brought him back in front of the camera more. And luckily he agreed. Benoit says, hey guys, what happened with the D500? Do you think that in 2019 this body would still be relevant considering all the new gear that has come up since? Thanks and love your content. Thank you. Yeah, I love the D500. I still have the D500, and I will probably continue to use the D500 for certain projects. So yeah, I think it's relevant. And that appears to be my last question today. So thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. My hands are freezing. My fingertips are numb. I got to drink the rest of my coffee and hop into my car and get warmed up. I hope y'all have a great end to your year, and I will talk to you soon.